Welcome to Grow Your Strength. I have a new routine today. And whenever I say that, I laugh to myself because the new routines usually start out kind of like the old routines, but that's okay. There's some things that are just, let's call them gold standards. I'm going to take some time to do some breathing, lying face up. You can have your knees bent if that feels easier on your back, or extend the legs out and just adjust through the posture. How does the neck feel? Can you tuck the chin down a little? What's the low back curve like? Do you need to teeter your back or level your hips? Place your arms at your sides with your palms up. And what about the legs and the feet? Just kind of letting things relax into the floor so you can focus on some deep, slow breath cycles. As you exhale, just slowly let any tension go that you might be able to into the floor, relaxing through those shoulders. After your next breath cycle, we're going to turn to the side and do some rib grabs. And I brought a little cushion out just to show the head support if you need head support. And rolling onto your side, stacking the knees and feet, and just tucking your bottom arm out, hand across your rib cage. And we're just rolling away, getting some movement through the shoulder blade area of your spine, your thoracic spine, and your neck. You can roll forward and open it up. I don't actually need the pillow because my head can comfortably go on the floor. But if yours can't, then please do it with a pillow rather than just kind of dangling your head in the air. You want things to relax and to move. By having your knees and feet stacked, we're not moving through the low back. This is kind of rib cage and up. I follow my top shoulder with my chin. I'm going to suggest we do about 5 rotations just at your own pace. And then before we switch to the other side, you can take your top arm off the rib cage and just do some big open circles. Got my fingers spread and letting the weight of my arm help to open up my shoulder. Just letting my head kind of roll, loosely following my fingertips with my eyes. And we'll do a couple circles in each direction, and then we'll switch over to the other side. And continue to focus on some slow breath cycles. Just integrating the breath in the body is a great idea, especially before loosen things up and get as much alignment as we can before we load with resistance. Okay, so here we go. Side 2, stack my knees and feet. Arm loosely over my rib cage, rotating up from that. A lot of things we do from a posture perspective are sort of in forward motion or forward flexion, whether we're walking or at the computer or driving. So this is nice to think about the rotation. Let's go to the circles. Don't spend a lot of time every day in rotation. So I like that this is kind of a posture improver. How's that for a word? Sweep Slowly stretch the fingers. Coming out of this, we'll go to all fours and do a few cycles of cat-cow, flexing and extending the back. So take some time to have your hands and knees wide enough that you can just move through those shoulders and hips as you flex gently and extend, trying not to push any extremes, but gifting your back this opportunity to move. The middle ground of this, your neutral back, we'll go into hip circles. I'm just going to take my hands and knees in a little bit, loosely tuck my toes, connect my weight through my hands equally, and then slowly take one knee off and start to circle it around where you can keep the back steady, the shoulders connected. You're not letting the head drop, for example, so just try to keep all connected. Go slow, trace the mobility that you can. A couple circles. Keep the breath going, nice and deep. It's definitely a core exercise too. If you keep that weight centered, I'm just going to shake out my wrists between sides, give them a little unloading, and then reset. Side two, here I go. If you have a roller, you can use a roller to extend the arms overhead by pushing the hips back and reaching the fingertips forward. If you don't have a roller for this, you can just simply do it on the floor, sitting the hips back. I've rotated my palms in and my thumbs are up to the roof. Trying to get some length from kind of armpits to fingers, sinking chest and shoulders down towards the floor. And hold it open in that stretched length position. And then a few passes, I call this thread the needle because you've got the roller beside your hand, and then you take the opposite hand and you thread it between the knee and hand, and then turn and you get a nice stretch through the back side of the shoulders, and you can rotate your head gently and look up, so integrate your neck. And if you don't have a roller, same thing, you can do this with just your hand on the floor. 3 to 5 of these, just depending on how fast you're going. And you hold that position here for a moment. This feels so good. And then from here, I'm going to take us to one high arm plank where we have the option to rock through the feet a little bit, and then into our knee and ankle series. So setting up high arm plank, I have neutral back. So then I step back, tighten up the hips a little. This might be hard enough. You can hold 3 to 5 breath cycles. And here's the rocking through the feet where I'm trying to push my hands away and push my heels back, getting a stretch through my calves, my heels, and then into my toes and bending my toes in extension, trying to get them all moving. Push back a few times. We'll take a break from that and then transfer over to the back. I like a stretch strap to work my knee bends. And you can use a long stretchy band around your foot, or this one has loops, which is nice. So adjusting the posture through the back, extending the leg out if you can, or keep the knee bent. What about the neck and chin? So here's the knee hug and the full extension, the back side of the leg. You might notice that when you kick up, you just are turned out a little or turned in, but most people are turned out a little. So try to straighten the leg. And as you work in through bending the knee and then extending, getting length. So if you are tight, back it off so you can get that full knee extension without locking your kneecap. Then you hold this position, start to focus on the foot by pointing the toes to the roof and then pulling them down, pushing the heel to the roof. 3 to 5 of these. Here's the rolls, sole of the foot in and out. Try to change the angle. Get a little stretch through the front side of the ankle. And then I'm like challenging myself to go super slow with the ankle circles lately, because when I come through here really slow, I feel the stretch right up through the back side of my knee. And that is really good. Okay, other side. Take the time to line yourself up. Check the leg is straight. Just relaxing breath cycles. Let's do some body maintenance here. Rolls. Circles. Don't feel quite as tight on this side, so that always tells us a little something. Okay, finishing off that side, we'll go back to another plank and with the option to rock through the feet again. Setting the shoulders, step back, establish the breath, add the gentle rocks. Work through the heels, the toes. I just thought of this, but if this both plank rockers is a challenge, you can actually do this with one leg back and one leg on the floor. If you're tight in the calves, you want to work those toes, that's another option. Just rocking through that back leg foot. Okay, one more before we come to standing. This is the half kneeling hinge and rock. So first you take yourself to half kneeling and walk the front foot out a little wider and then pivot the back foot. So we want to hinge to the down knee side. And the hinge means that, like, if there was a rope here, the rope would be pulling your hips, your hand comes down, kind of out from your down knee. Now the rock is interesting because you can really get deep into your hip stretch, and then as you come forward, you feel the weight shift through the hand and shoulders. So here's the rock, and then holding. You can add a gentle turn by looking down and looking up, so some gentle neck mobility. You want to not be shrugged. So if you find yourself in a shrug and the neck isn't moving well, pull the armpits down and look up, look down. There's no magic in how many rocks and how many looks. To come out of this, I usually sit deep into my hip, take a breath in, and then just come up slowly. Let the blood pressure adjust, and then we'll switch sides. So lots of things going on with this one. You get some good hip mobility. So front foot wide, back foot pivoted, so you've got room to hinge down to your down knee side. And then of course we're gently loading one shoulder in a slightly different angle than we do, say, with a plank hold. So I'm putting a little weight through my hand, and here's my head turn. No shrugging. If you've been following along with the classes, you know that I love get-ups, and I secretly teach everybody to be able to do a get-up because there's a little bit of get-up in that one. All right, so now we come to standing. I'm going to start with lateral shifts between feet, and then some longer work on the balance. So I'm just spreading my toes and trying to balance with a slight bend in my knee. Show you this way, I'm not locked out, so I'm not hyperextended. As you go side to side, there's lots going on in the ankle, knee, and hip to support you that you don't go this way. So you want to be practicing lateral weight shifts, even with your feet on the ground. Lots. At the grocery store, waiting to pay. Okay, so now we'll take time to set up one foot. If balancing on one foot is unstable for you, move over to a piece of furniture, or consider doing it with the back toe as a kickstand. For about 30 seconds, we're going to take the back foot off, and if you need to tap down and reset, you can. Staring at something will help, and for the added task, I thought I would add knee bends in this program. So you're just a very small amount of movement. I'm trying to track my knee straight over my foot. About 10 more seconds of this, and that is a little task of balance. It makes things a lot harder. And remember, balance is just a practice, and so there's about 30 seconds on that side. So switching feet, take a little time to get into the foot, take the back foot off, and then add the knee bends if you wish. Vision plays a big part of balance, so staring at something while you add another task like a knee bend is really going to help. Last few seconds there. Good. Now let's go into some cross body taps. So take the knee up to about hip height. Take your hand and cross over, and just going through a few of these things to watch for. Can you bring your knee straight up of your hip and keep your ankle straight as well? Or are you kind of coming up like this, right? Can you bring the legs straight up, cross, and then also with the foot, nice straight. I've got my toes up, not just foot dangling, going through here or here. Let's see the slight difference. Now, a couple more of these. If you've got it, you can blink or close your eyes. Closing my eyes now takes a lot more navigation. And then we'll transition to reverse lunge with load. So taking some weights, step back reverse lunges, looking for about 6 per side. I'm going to stay on one side, drop the back knee a little or a lot, and come back up to standing. I'll show you from the side. Got control of my toes. Remember the toe bends as I come down, taking advantage of that. You can stay fairly upright or pitch forward a little bit, which is more load and a bit more stress on the knee. So if you have touchy knees, just stay upright and don't go too forward to cause more stress through the angle that you put your knee into. Looking good. Again, upright, staring at something. Drop the back knee down to a depth you can control. Nice work. Next up is knees and squeeze. I'm just going to lighten up my weights for this so I can talk and demo at the same time. I've got 2 dumbbells. I go back into a hinge. I'm going to row my elbows to my sides, squeeze my shoulder blades together, straighten the arms, and then stand up. So it's like a hip hinge and a row. So bend over, row, arms straight, stand up. Six to 8 of these. As you stand up, get nice and tall in your posture. Feel the hips a little. Bend over, hips back, so it is a hip hinge. As you pull the shoulder blades together, like you're squeezing them towards your spine, then stand up. Okay, so that's our, I don't know, my former colleague Lindsay used to call that knees and squeeze. And so I stole it. Squat and pry, so no weights required. And we're just going to squat to a depth that you can control your back. Take your arms and push your knees out a little bit. And this is the pry. Can you get a little lower if you push the knees out? And don't hold your breath. And then just come up again. Okay, so depending on the depth of your squat, you might be able to get a little lower. Some people can get so low that they push their elbows to pry, but most of us here just pushing the arms wide, gently pushing so that you can sit into your hips a little bit more. Take a breath in and come back up. This is a lot harder than it looks. So up to 5 of these. So I come down, find the depth. I feel my back is feeling good and I'm just pushing out and then trying to sit into my squat a little bit more. And I'll show you from the side. So I come down, back is steady. Take my arms, push my knees out, and then I can just sit into my hips a little bit more. Take a breath and come up. Whew. Okay, let's go back through the reverse lunges and the knees and squeeze, and then we'll move on. The squat and pry is an effective way of increasing your hip mobility, getting you a better squat and just better movement overall, I guess. So here we go. 6 of these. Load it up. Bend those back toes. If you step back and breathe in as you go down, exhale as you come up, you might find it's a little bit easier because that intra-abdominal pressure helps to stabilize. You don't have to coordinate every move with breath, but sometimes it's a way of making the moves safer, increasing, like I said, the stabilization, making them safer and more stable is the key. More time under tension and a good alignment, and the better we are. I'm going to stick with the heavier weights this time. Bend over, row, stand up tall. Hips back. It's great, everyone. 6 to 8. And we'll load up the squats. So if you need to change out your weights, please do. Let's take it to the shoulders. Maybe bring it to one weight if you want. Find the distance for your feet for your squat. And we'll go into 6 to 8 weighted squats. Here's that breath in again as I pull myself down. Back is stable. Knees go wide, hips go down. Created that space for my hips to move in the squat and pry move. Knees wide, pull down, stand tall. Great. Good. So a little water, and then we're going to the floor. Starting the floor with 5 double bridges, and then into 10 single leg bridges. So 5 double bridges to start. No band or anything, just lying on your back. Level out the posture. Feet about hip width apart as I bridge up. Tighten up my hips. I'm extending my hips. So if I don't go high enough, I'm not getting hip extension using my butt muscles. And if I go too high or I don't fix the posture in my back, I've got a big arch, and I go high, then I'm just going to put pressure in my low back. So be mindful of that. Now, if you're just starting out, you're wanting to probably stick with double bridges, and saying do 10 single leg might be a bit much. I've been following along. We had this in our last program, and I want you to take your time with each bridge, keeping the hips level. If I grab onto the back of my thigh and my hand is over the edge of my rib cage, I know that I'm not coming up and arching my back because things are integrated, and I've got that little reminder with my hand over my rib cage. If 10 is too many, just do 5, switch, and try and get a total of 10, 2 sets. And here we go. Nice hip strengthening. Exercise 2 is a get up to high bridge. Now we have been doing full get ups in some of the programs, so this is a little different. The get up to the high bridge starts exactly the same. So I roll to my elbow, I come up to my hand, but the high bridge just means I lift and hold. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Slowly come down, back down to my elbow, and back down to the floor. So it's 2 per side. I'm lying on my back, right arm up, right knee bent. I've taken a moment to adjust my posture, chin through, low back. Take a breath in, easy roll, elbow, hand. I got to bring my hand in a smidge because I'm going to lift up and count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Control down, back down to the elbow, no shrugging, and pull yourself back down to the floor in that roll. Okay, so that's the get up to high bridge, 2 per side. We'll switch sides, going through the postural check, connected armpit. Yep, everything's good. Take a breath, push into my foot, easy roll. Hand, adjust the hand so it's just right for lifting. You can look up here, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Ideally, you're supposed to keep the eye on the hand overhead. I'm looking at the camera a little bit to check students and all that, but here I go with one that I'll just look at my hand. Here, here, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, hip, elbow back down. Okay, so back to the bridges now, and then we'll do that again with the option of adding some weight. So if you found that was doable, you've got the technique, we'll add some load. Let's go with the 5 double bridges and up to the 10 single leg. Okay, gift your hips. Chin tuck. Everything's good. Take the time to come up, extend, down, release. As I come up, there's some tension here. Down, release the tension. Up to 10. Good, switching. If you're getting fatigued, you could always go back to double bridges or stick with them the whole time if you're new to this. Nine, 10. Okay, so a progression for the get up to high bridge. Probably the easiest progression would be to hold a ball in your hand. Next progression would be to take a weight. It could be an easy weight, 3 pounds, 5 pounds. And how do I want to do this? I'm taking the weight from my sideline position in my right hand. I press the weight up. Everything's set. I know this weight feels comfortable for me. I go to the elbow, to the hand, and to the high bridge with some load. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. It could be a ball that you're squeezing. Slowly back down to the hip, to the elbow, and return to the floor. Try to bring the weight down safely and roll to the side. You can either bring the weights around your head, or I like to just spin around. And we're going to do 2 per side. I just did 1. You go ahead and do another one. We want to be careful when we move weights around on the floor that you don't take them across your body, because lots of people slip and then it can hit your teeth, and teeth are expensive to fix. So I always take the weight around the head or spin the body. Okay, now to my back side 2, setting up the posture, press up, anchor and connect my shoulder, and here I go. Elbow, looking at the weight, keep an eye on the prize. High bridge, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Nice and slow down. Just take your time as you reverse the steps. 2 per side. From here, I'm taking us to push-ups. Looks like everybody's just finishing. I'm just going to grab a little sip of water. Okay, so in the push-up practice, you might have to go over to a wall or a piece of furniture. Maybe the progression on the floor is still not where you're at. A higher percentage of body weight, the more you go down to the floor. It can be a breath hold. You establish a plank and you can work on a mini push-up, right? Pulling yourself down slowly, putting a cushion underneath your front side to help have a softer landing. Maybe not quite so hard on the body. Spread the fingers, distribute the weight through your fingers, not just the base of your wrists. And integrate your shoulder blades. So as you pull yourself down, You want to feel your shoulder blades coming together. Push the floor away. This is just building up different levels of capacity over time, time under tension. And then the last exercise in this set is a half kneeling press from the down knee side. So nice push-ups there, gals. Okay, so then here's back to half kneeling. I'm going to lightly tuck my back toe, take a weight, dumbbell or kettlebell, to the shoulder of the down knee side. And now I'm going into my overhead press from this position. I'm looking at 5, 6, 8 reps. This weight that I chose is a little on the heavier side, so probably 5 is going to be good. And when I press up, I don't want there to be a shift in my back. I want to keep my rib cage, you know, I'm a little tucked under in my hips, so I feel solid. I do have that back toe lightly tucked in under, so I'm anchored through my posture and I can push away. But as soon as you sort of start to feel yourself this way back, that puts pressure, right? And through the parts of the body that we don't want. Switching sides, match your reps. Up phase, down phase. As I pull back down, I'm thinking about everything in through my side. Top of the shoulder, everything under. Nice work. Okay, I'm going to take us back to squats because we only did one set of weighted squats. So come to standing, grab weights, 6 to 8 squats. Looking good. Breathe in as you pull yourself down. Push the floor away. Wonderful. Okay, and then to make it 2 sets, we have to do one more set of the push-ups. So if you take it to an elevated surface, set the plank, pull yourself in, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push away, or your option on the floor. You know that number that you can do well, so don't compromise your form. A little activation of the hip muscles. Keep the body as a plank. Nice work. Okay, so moving on, we've got one more set. I said I was ambitious at the get-go here, and I think we're going to do it, so good on us. Lateral fly. So taking some weights to come out with the elbows, reaching shoulder height, making sure that you're not like shrugging up into the neck and shoulders. So watch the posture, watch this bent knee thing again, right? You don't want to be here, floating the weight over your feet. Control the up, control the down. You know, I think last week I got really carried away talking about, you know, intuitive training, rep ranges. It's got to be approximate when it's a video or a group class. This isn't a, I don't know, right? I don't know what 5 pounds feels like 8 times on your shoulders. Maybe you need to go to 8 pounds, maybe you need to go to 3 pounds. So you have to become a little bit familiar with the moves and think about how it feels at the end of a set, 6, 8 rep range. Is it too easy? Is it just right? Or is it too hard? We don't want it too hard. Hip hinges are next, and then we finish with a row. So I'm going to take a kettlebell for my hip hinges today and give you a couple of demonstrations. So this is lifting weight from the floor with the kettlebell in a hip hinge position. If you don't have the hip mobility to get all the way to the floor, you could elevate on a platform. Here's 2 dumbbells sliding down my thighs to just below my knees and then come up to standing. With the dumbbell, you get the option of opening the shoulders at the top. You don't have to. Rarely with dumbbells would I suggest going all the way to the floor because that puts pressure on the back. The handle of the kettlebell is a nice height, well, because I'm short. So here I grab the handle, anti-shrug the shoulders, take a breath in so my back is supported, stand up, rebreathe. So this connection of breath, the intra-abdominal pressure, that supports any micro movements and helps me to isolate and just work my hip muscles, right? Hip muscles are the lever. So it's a little different than a squat, because in the squat we go knees wide, hips down. In this deadlift hip hinge, the knees bend, but they don't go forward that much. And then see, as I come up, the lever is my hips. Okay, love that. And then lastly was this bent over row. Now we did kind of like that knees and squeeze. So now I'm suggesting that you go on one side, perhaps a little heavier, square the shoulders, weight is in the right hand, right foot's anchored back. And I'm just really working that whole shoulder complex. As I mentioned, maybe a little heavier. Watch the rep range. And there's 6. That just feels on the easy side of medium. That would be easium. Okay, so good. At least it wasn't too hard. It wasn't too easy. Switching sides, squaring up the posture, matching your rep range. Good. And then we'll go back through this set. Little water, start with the lateral fly. You can experiment with the weights. So maybe that did feel a little too easy. So now set myself up with something a little heavier. Looking straight ahead. Pull down. See how you can use your mindset to create tension. Open, close, open, close. Just feels so good. Wonderful. Kind of know you get close to like, that's enough. And then we'll go back to the deadlift. You could do 2 kettlebells, 1 kettlebell. I'm looking around. What else can I demo? Anchor, root your feet. Just connect. Hips back. Back feels neutral, or you adjust. Anti-shrug, take the breath in. Lift. It's almost like you float back a little bit into your heels, and then the weight just floats off the floor. You can rebreathe. Take another deep breath in and control your lower. You want to be thinking even with deadlifts too, not weight shifting through one foot. And often I find if I actually think about that, I could be just a smidge offset if I just grab it, but if I take some time, okay, left, right, center, lifting, center. That's how we want to, the attention to detail we want in our lifting practice. When you're lifting something out of the car and the top shelf, the garage, it's never usually centered. It's never perfect, so we don't injure ourselves, get strong, so all those everyday activities don't hurt us. Here we go. That actually brings up a deep topic of conversation about angles and alignment for weight training. So we'll leave that for another day. As you do the row, can you do 1 or 2 extra reps, switching sides. And then to finish, we'll just take ourselves to a little shoulder work by rotating the palms in. So that's your internal rotation. And then out, external rotation. Just good deep breathing. What is the range that you can access? Okay, now we'll take the arms up a little higher. Now as you rotate one palm up, the other palm down, inward. So you're now internally rotating and externally rotating. And you can even add some neck by turning and looking to your up palm hand. Spread the fingers. And lastly, we'll take it to that full S pattern. So looking straight ahead. Can you take one hand into the small of the back? Okay. Often with this, you kind of feel yourself wanting to do this so they can get a little closer. Ideally, you do want your fingertips to be closer. You can make some fists and try and do it with fists, or do it with open fingers, or try both. But we've done a lot of work on the shoulders in this program. That was quite a good warm-up with the rib grabs and the roller reach. So hopefully your shoulders and neck feel the benefit of it. Thank you so much for building a stronger version of yourself with me today.